Is it fixed? I hope it's fixed. Because the thing is, like, I have no idea what causes this. Yeah, now it sounds fine. I hope it's fixed. Because the thing is, like, I have no idea what causes this. Yeah, now it sounds fine. Screw yourself, OBS. Damn, stupid pile of garbage. Seriously, it's like the worst part of recording a video for me is the everything related to recording. It's like, the mic doesn't work, the camera doesn't work, the OBS doesn't work. And it's just like, why can't I just press record and actually record? Anyway, yeah, we're at now 41:33 now. It's gonna fall apart in like, give it 10 minutes, and if the sound doesn't break again, I'll be very, very surprised. So, we're just gonna start off the like, I'm just gonna go up on the XMP profile until it stops posting. So I guess this one isn't getting archived because there's like 6 fails at streaming this one. Oh, whatever, there's not that much in this. Okay, so we are doing, yeah, we're doing 4200. Sucky thing about Kaby Lake X is that it's literally Kaby Lake, so it doesn't have the extra memory ratios that you would get on like a Coffee Lake CPU, which go all the way up to like, I think they go up to like 5 gigahertz. Not that you can actually post that most of the time, but they do go there. Let's try that. Yeah, this is just going to be a whole lot of restarting for like a while because there's not really anything else to do. FCLK frequency, I'm just letting the board do its own thing for that. Yeah. I'm gonna go with what the board says. And I've not had issues, so I'm just gonna stick to that. 108. At this, like, we should start running issues in a little bit, because up to 4500 tends to be pretty easy, and past that it starts getting hard. Well, pretty easy if you have a good board. If you have a bad board, 4000 is hard. Yeah, so... Are we actually? Yeah, we're actually at 43. Okay. So we're gonna go for 110. Oh, the FCLK frequency? Boy. I'd have to look that up. Yeah, I have no idea. It's, I think, like the FCLK, as far as I know, it was introduced to allow you to separate the BCLK from the rest of the system. But I don't know what it, like, the details of it, so, yeah. Did you see the, yeah, I saw the 5 gigahertz G-Skill memory kit that G-Skill announced. What are your thoughts on the whole Intel chiller overclocked? I actually plan to do a video, just, well, no, like, I plan to do some kind of content about the whole, the Intel, wait, did we? Oh, yay, this board. I love this board. This board is so nice. Instead of telling you that it failed to overclock, it'll just change the B cell. Like, it does the gigabyte thing, which is fine, I guess. But, no, like, yeah, I have some content planned about the Intel thing. I'm not, like, and plus, like, last stream I got asked about it so much, I'm not gonna bother. Okay, 4500 works, and past that it seems to have a problem, so we might actually need to start doing things at this point. So, let's start with that. Yeah, oh wait, right, this board isn't like Asus where you need to actually worry about that one, but yeah, let's try that. Let's not go all the way to maxed out really quick. Wait, what happens if I do that? Yes, it defaults it to just straight that. Okay, cool, that's nice. Should be a certain... Gee, where is that? Oh, this is not like the Asus ROG boards. I am lost. Oh, this is not going to be fun. If I'm lucky, it'll just do the right thing on auto. So I'm just going to let the board do its thing and hope that it knows what it's doing. It should. Like, max memory frequency... Actually, MSI holds the record for that right now, don't they? Oh, well, I'll just hope that this board knows what it's doing, at least for that. I'm not really that impressed with it on Skylake X. Okay, so that does still post. Let's try 110 again. I think it failed. This board isn't nearly as jarring as, like... Yeah, they only have 4 red LEDs, so... It's so annoying, like, they put the little, like, quick troubleshooting LEDs up here, and then they put the bloody postcode down here, and that still doesn't work. Okay, that's interesting. So, is this CPU also junk? Do we have a boot voltage on here? Oh boy, we don't. Oh, this might be really, really short. Because this might get really, really stuck really, really soon. Okay, let's try that, and then go back up to 40. Yeah, that is the stupidest idea ever. Like, they have all the... Because they have, like, quick troubleshooting LEDs up here, and they're all the, like, same color and side by side. So, actually telling what's wrong is really, really hard. ROG color codes them. Because ROG actually cares about the user experience with their motherboards. Whereas Asrock bloody doesn't. And it failed again. And for some reason, I don't have monitor display out yet. Right, so it doesn't even want to do... Okay, so that ratio doesn't... Oh boy, okay. Since it suggests that for high BCLK, I'm going to assume that might be the issue, because, like, the memory frequency is lower now. And the, like, the TRFC I set and the timings I set, like, those really shouldn't be causing any issues. Well, that's worse. Yeah, so we're not... Okay, so that's interesting, 108. I mean, I could just drop one of the memory channels at this point, but I was kind of hoping to get relatively high on with 2 sticks still in the system. Which, to be fair, 4500 is quite the achievement compared to my 7700K. Especially because it does 4500 on, like, stock timings. Man, this, like, what the hell? Everything goes great and then it suddenly doesn't. $4133. We're on the XMP profile. Let's try that. 32. Okay, right. That goes to 31. 31. Oh, wait, no. 63. 2. 10. Let's just go with 1000 initially. Okay, that works. So it doesn't look like I was wrong on the timings. $4133. Let's see, 105. Now 106.5. Should work no problem. This seems really tight, though, for some reason. Try that. Yeah, okay, that still works. It's not surprising, because before up to 4500 worked great, so I've not made any progress. Just figured out things that don't break the system. 110. Again, let's see if that works this time. It doesn't seem to be liking that. Yeah, that's failing. I don't like how this board fails in overclock. It's too, like, it's not as dramatic as some of the other boards. Like, they actually outright power cycle the entire system, and this one just sort of flickers the, like, loops the postcodes for a bit, and then it's like, oh, no, you failed. Okay, let's go back to 106.5. That is interesting. Okay, it might just be a straight BCLK issue, so let's drop the frequency way down. Let's see. Okay, so that does work. So it is actually complaining about the memory clock. Yeah, it is. So it's not just BCLK alone that's causing all the issues, but, okay, wait. I'll just leave that at 110, and let's bring up the frequency. 4400. Also, for, like, I've attempted to upload Twitch emotes, so for all the people who've subscribed, could you, like, try if they work out? Because I honestly don't know how to test that. I think it is not working again. This is dumb. I hate RAM max memory clock. It's kind of fun when it's working, and it's really not fun when it isn't. Because it's like, yeah, you just run into this wall, and it's just random when it starts to work. Doesn't see emotes. Well, I don't know, like, I uploaded emotes. Maybe they take a while to apply? I don't know. Yeah, so it's not a BCLK thing, it's actually the memory ratio. This board is being dumb, isn't it? It's like, the one thing I've noticed is this thing seems to time, like auto timings seem pretty aggressive most of the time, so that might be part of it. Thing is, I'm not that good at setting all of the memory timings, so this is going to be great. On ROG boards, there's like there's a DLL-BW, there's a DLL bandwidth setting. And the thing is, on those on the ROG boards, you just like slide it between sort of like it goes from like 1 to 5, and there's like a sweet spot setting for every CPU. And when you set that, it clocks memory higher. Except this has that, and I don't know what to do with that. So that's not good. I could just try more memory voltage. But I get the feeling that might not be it. Because it's having problems just doing 4400 as soon as I set the BCLK high. And there goes the boot loop. Yay! So, I guess what I'll do is I'll try to boot in 4500. So that should work. Get all the way to Windows and then try BCLK in Windows for a bit and see if it just rolls over at 110. MRC fast boot. Actually, fast boot tends to make the, like, at least on gigabyte boards, having fast boot enabled is a good cheat to get higher memory frequency working, because it skips the memory training. Oh, now it gives me a fail, doesn't it? Like, stupid freaking board. I could also probably just take that memory stick out. That would probably make the board a lot happier. Oh, no, I've already deemed this board garbage. Like, it's been sitting in its box until I got the 7740. Like, the dark turned up, and since then, this has been sitting in its box. I think it worked. Maybe. We'll see. Like, the thing is, it doesn't, like, consistently tell you if it failed or not. Which is really annoying. Let's see if we even have the memory frequency. Okay, so we do have the memory frequency. Now let's see if the janky onboard button overclocking utility, like, I don't know how Asrock manages it, but like even their like these buttons up here, the way they're implemented from like Windows sucks. Yeah, don't work. You need to like, Like, I honestly am suspicious that that stupid utility they have for the buttons to work is actually super high overhead. So it's actually really bad for your overclocking. Let's try this. Will it lock up? Nope, hasn't locked up yet. Moment of truth. Hey, it's not locked up. Oh no, there. Wait, no, that's just the capture card being derp. Ah, there it goes. Okay, so it locks up at that. So that's not great. I guess nothing for it but to drop that memory stick then. I don't even know which channel is which on this, so we'll see. I think it's the closer stick that's channel 1. What's your favorite CPU motherboard RAM combo? I don't really have one. Like, there's a lot of platforms where, like, I like the platform overall. I can tell you one thing, I don't like B-die. Okay, I think I'm on the right memory channel. Like, I don't like B-die, it's a really, really fiddly memory. It's so fiddly to work with. I much prefer E-die. E-die is so much simpler. You just throw voltage at it, and it overclocks. It's amazing. You don't need to run maxmem. You don't need to do any stupid things to Windows. Like, you don't need to do anything special to Windows. You don't need to reboot the system 1,000 freaking times to get the memory to work. It just doesn't clock as high as B-die, so that's a downside for sure. But okay, well, let's see if the one memory stick runs better. It should. And there goes the boot loop. Yeah, there goes the boot loop. I think by far my least favorite platform is X90. Well, no. Modern Intel is basically like, I don't like the modern Intel platforms. Early Ryzen 1 sucks as well. And Ryzen 1 on LN2 kind of sucks all the time as far as I can tell. I've not tried the 1700 on the Crosshair, so maybe on the Crosshair it'll be a lot better, but on like the Tai Chi and all the other boards it was just like awful. Oh, this is a fail, isn't it? Because it just failed the memory training. We try to take the profile off. So that's an interesting thing is with some boards, it's better to have like to have the XMP profile running, and on some boards you want to set everything manually. Well, no, leave it on auto, and it does a better job. But it really depends which board you're on. Funny thing is, it's now fail. No, it's actually. Okay, so yeah, this one seems to prefer it if you take the XMP off, so it does seem to know better than the memory sticks. Yeah, okay. So that's progress right there, finally. I'm using this board because it should be better than any other board I have. And I don't, well, I have two boards. I have a dark and I have this thing. And the dark definitely isn't good with KB Lake X because, like, it took a while for Skylake X to be polished on the dark. And there it goes, it fails again. Okay, so progress has been made, just not much of it. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long one. Okay, that worked. Oh, no, it didn't. No, that didn't work. Okay. What a pile of fun, this board. No, this doesn't have the extra pin the Apex, the extra pin the Apex has, this doesn't have that. This does have a way stronger VRM than the Apex, though. It's just too unfortunate that this board is, in my opinion, worse on Skylake X than the Dark. Also, look at that. Look at that target memory speed. That's how you know you're using an Asrock board, when it can't do basic math. At least the ratio changes when you change the BCLK, because they have boards that don't do even that. I wish this had a retry button that worked, because technically speaking there is a retry button, but every time I've ever tried to use it, it just gives you an overclocking failed message. So I've just come to the conclusion that it's not supposed to work. Because I like honestly, it's just like, if your feature is implemented in such a way that it's actually hard to use, then it's not a very good feature. And the memory is broken again. Lovely. What to do? What to do? I'll just loosen that out all the way. Alright, why is the cast write latency so low? That's dumb. Like, honestly, just for the sake of stability, you're being lazy. The cast write latency should be the same as your cast latency. Oh, that's bloody great, isn't it? It's not working. Oh boy. This doesn't post again. Thing is, this doesn't have like any of the indication that like on Z270 on the Apex, if you did certain things wrong, you would get somewhat intelligible postcodes out of it that would tell you roughly what you might want to adjust. And here it's just like, oh, you failed. Your memory is now at 2133, deal with it. Which, like, on the other hand, the Apex is sometimes an absolute nightmare to get working, but it's just, it at least, you know, it at least tries to tell you what you're doing wrong, whereas this thing is just like, I reset your memory. Feel good about that. Let's try that. When in doubt, push more voltage. I don't think that worked. Yeah, that didn't work. These seem like it's setting them way too low. The thing is, RTLs and IOLs are like way beyond my understanding. Like, I have no idea what to do with them. So basically it's just like I need to hope that the board knows what it's doing, which is just not a good thing, but what can I do? want to say if you just set that to 11, it should be fine. The thing is, like, they're really, like, their time, like, the little testing I did on these is they're tied directly to your frequency and cast latency. So if you change, like, one of those two, there's a good chance you need to change these as well. And it's just, like, most of the time the boards are better at doing it on their own than, like, me trying to mess with it. Thing is, these descriptions are really not useful. Okay, let's try one of the profiles that this board comes with. Hopefully it has like a raw megahertz profile. That might do stuff for me. Wii, Samsung, no it doesn't. It just has a bunch of really tight profile, like. Well, that sucks. That really sucks, because I was really hoping I'd just load up a profile and it would give me some idea of what the settings were supposed to, like, where I'm supposed to go. See, I'm sure that all of these settings would be really helpful if there was an actual bloody description next to most of them. And the manual's not worth reading, it's this thick. Well, it's actually reasonably thick. It's just translated into like 1 million languages, so there's no actual information in there. Because it's just like 5 pages translated over and over and over again, which is just super handy, isn't it? I'm really tempted to try this thing that I did on the Apex, which was that I basically just skipped like an entire range of BCLK and then it suddenly started working. So 115, here we go. Nah, that made it worse. That definitely made it worse. Okay, that won't work with this board. That's too unfortunate. Skip harder. Okay, that's definitely not gonna boot. Like, not in a million years is that gonna boot. But there, 5 gigahertz. That's how we're gonna do this. Thing is, there's not even like boot voltages in here. So let's try this. Wait, where's VTT DDR? Oh, I guess, wait. Yeah, that should be it. 0.93. Yeah, this is not going to train. Oh, look, we finally have a useful postcode. it just recovered, didn't it? It didn't actually train that. There's no way it actually trained that. Yeah, it didn't. Of course it bloody didn't. What do I do about this, though? I just want to see if that BCLK even works. Yeah, for half a second there was a useful postcode. It's too bad that if you go into the manual, it probably tells you like, oh, memory initialization, so it's still doing C3. So no, that's actually just straight up BCLK at this point. I guess it's time to underclock the CPU harder. Because admittedly, that is actually reasonably fast, so... There! That's how we do memory overclocking. It's still throwing a C3. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just check the manual if just in case there isn't anything even remotely useful in there, but... Yeah, actually, no, this manual is thick. Oh no, it's the quick installation guide. Yeah, that's how you know. that's how you know you have a good board, when the quick installation is thicker than the bloody manual. Oh boy. This sucks. Okay, so I need a manual now. Which... hopefully is in the board's box. There we go. Yes, there is a manual. Wait, no, that's a software guide. There is... wait, where did... okay. Oh, there's no manual in that. Great. I don't know where I put the manual. I guess I'll try download it. That'll probably be... just fine. Great. I really wish I had an ROG board now. That would at least have like a really good document detailing all of the settings. It's the main thing I like about the Asus boards, is that they have actual, like even when the board even when the board misbehaves, at least it's kind of documented that it does that. Whereas the Asrock boards, it's just like, well, help yourself. $26.66. If this doesn't go well, I might just sell this board and get a Rampage. Because like the only reason why I'm still keeping this board around is because it's supposed to be good on KB Lake X. So, okay, there's our user manual. Postcode. Call it the status checker. Right. Are you kidding me? Gotta be joking. Yeah, they gotta be joking. Whoa. There's... That is the manual. Yeah, that is the bloody manual. And there's no table for what the actual postcodes mean. I mean, the guy designing the board, like, obviously has documentation detailing it. It's just really unfortunate that they didn't think to include it in the user manual, you know? That'd be a nice place to put that kind of information. Lovely. Also, they have a description of every single memory timing, which basically goes, configure round-trip latency for channel D1. It doesn't actually say, like... Gee, I couldn't tell that this was a configurable setting by looking at it. You needed to tell me. Oh. Well, this is why you buy ROG. They might not have as good a VRM. Actually, they have, in my opinion, for the Rampage 6, the VRM is absolutely, like, borderline for Skylake X, but at least you get a user manual that's, you know, a manual instead of a description of literally what you can see with your own eyes. Which is just Asrock things. Oh, and I'm not even trying to push the memory that far. It's just high BCLK causing that postcode, which is lovely. Wonder if that'll throw a C3. No, I'm looking at the user manual. It is completely useless. It's 113 pages of describing basically just relabeling every single option in the BIOS. Wait, did that seriously not work? Boot failure. Disable. There. Let's see if that'll make the board a little bit more try-hard. That's the thing with Asus boards, is like that you give them a set of settings and they will try really hard to boot them. And probably fail. But they'll still try. Whereas this thing is just like giving up, and hopefully this gets it to... Nope, still 2133. Lovely. It's 115 BCLK. This should be easy to boot. Like, seriously, this shouldn't be causing this many issues. This should be a fire and forget thing. Yeah, so now it works. No, it doesn't. We're still at 2133. Board doesn't, like, awful. I'd rather be on MSI. Well, actually, it's basically come down to the point where I like literally every manufacturer. I think BioStar would probably give Asrock a run for their money of title my least favorite BIOS. It's just so unfortunate that they like the thing with Asrock is it's like I'd really like to like their boards because they have like really solid VRMs, you know, from a physical perspective, great board. BIOS, kill me. Like, please kill me, because this is awful. It's gotta work. Did it? Did it finally? No, it didn't. There's seriously nothing like... Clock Gen Advanced Settings. I'm gonna assume... Oh, see, now that's a useful setting. That makes sense to me. Just gonna max that one out. Max that out. Max that out. Slew rates. Max those out as well. And I'm gonna leave it at that. That should, in theory, make the BCLK at least a bit more stable. If this is, at least if these settings work the same way as they do on Asus boards, which they should because the names are the same. Which is a rarity. Well, the memory clock still sucks. Like, I wonder if the board isn't just, like, refusing to even, like, attempt. Because it might actually be thinking that it's supposed to boot 2133, but I can't bloody tell because the board doesn't tell you anything. I'd rather be on the Apex. Okay, no, it's definitely just failing to do the memory overclock. Let's go to 108. Pull it back a bit and see if it's screwed up even there. Looks like it is. This was supposed to be easy. I'm not going to change those because those really should be optimal right now. I don't know if it might not have like a problem with the, like, I have literally no idea what it's complaining about. Oh boy. Because like Asus boards, you screw something up and they just hang, and you can see, like, if you have a 55 code, it tells you, you screwed up something that made the memory controller unhappy. If you have a 3F code, it's your timings are completely wrong. If you have a 49, it's similar to a 55, but it's from a 55 you can sometimes retry through a 55. With a 49, it's like you should go back and start over. It looks like it's still boot looping. Yeah, it is. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Okay, let's try these all back on auto and see if that gets me somewhere. Nope. I didn't do anything stupid in here, did I? Nope. I mean, maybe I have the CKE set too high, but try that. Yeah, Asrock actually have, like, the guy whose signature is over here on this board. He designed it. He's a really good overclocker. He's really bad at, but the thing is, like, they're really bad about, like, including actual documentation on how to bloody use the freaking board. I don't get it. Why is it failing like settings that should normally just work? Like, I don't think anything is screwed up at this point, so let's just load back up that profile. F10 again. And the thing is, I don't have his contact, so that's, that makes things hard. And honestly, I don't like when, like, with a lot of the different board manufacturers, it's like, if your board can only do this when you have the support of the entire company's R&D team, that's not okay. Like, the board shouldn't require that you have, you have a contact for one of the engineers who worked on it in order to be able to work with the board. Which is just like, if you need that level of access, then it's just like, it's not good for daily use. Like, it's not okay for daily, like, normal users, in my opinion. Which Asus is like really good about, because Elmore, right, who works in board development at ROG, he goes and every board launch he writes up an entire overclocking guide, and that overclocking guide over time actually gets updated. So if you ever need to do, and that guide will cover basically all of the core features. The other thing is that ROG is also really good about, like, they would often collaborate, like send a card to Extreme Addict, and then he would publish like a full guide, and he'd have all the tips from the engineers, but it would just be published under his name as well. So they'd work like with him to like do a lot of, like, they'd have a lot of GPU guides that were basically like Extreme Addict or the 780 Ti Direct CU2. There's like an extreme overclocking guide that was published by Slams, I want to say, who's a Russian overclocker who like collaborates with ROG a lot as well. And then Asrock just have Nick Shi and Splave, but like Splave doesn't post guides as far as I know, so it's just like, yeah, lovely. Splave posts world records. He doesn't post how to do them. So that makes using the boards really, really hard, because it's just like there's no... Oh, this doesn't even go to 3? That's odd. I might be on the wrong memory channel. As much as, like, the name implies that I'm on the first one, it's just, like... Test all memory slots, test all of this, but it's just so annoying. Yeah, let's try that. Again. Oh no, it's all low voltages again, so... 0.7. Because I have a sneaking suspicion the board might actually be just failing to train at high voltage, because I've had that before with Asrock boards, where you set the whole voltage high enough and the board just goes stupid. 1.4. Let's try that. Okay, no, it's still behaving itself, I think. Is it? Yeah, it is. Alright, yeah, let's try that. Oh, see, useful postcode! Finally! Okay, so that means unhappy memory controller. At least if this is like an Asus board, because again, there's no useful manual for the board. Now, do I press the retry button and hope that it actually like retries, or probably doesn't bloody work, which should be this one, I think. Yeah, that's retry. If this works like the Asus retry button, we should either end up on 55 or it... Okay. And did it recover? Or did it actually train? Oh, no, it recovered. Lovely. Lovely. That's exactly what I want from my retry button, for the board to recover from it. Like, they have a safe boot button. This board has a freaking safe boot. I don't know why they need the freaking auto fail recovery. We're at 1.8. Okay, so that's not memory voltage. Might be the memory controller. It's still throwing a 55. What's this area in terms of... Oh, please don't tell me it already decided to auto-recover. No, it's just being dumb again. Lovely. Oh, boy. This is like Gigabyte, but like if Gigabyte was really bad. Did it actually work, or did it just go back to 2133? Oh, that worked. Lovely. Okay, so we're still stuck at 4500 though, so that's not progress. Wait, why is that at 50s? What? Is this board stupid? Why is the TRFC at 560 at 4500? Like, it should not be that low. Like, not even remotely that low. C6. Let's try retry. In theory, this should be this like same type of postcodes as a regular KB Lake. So this either worked or the board did something stupid, which is it was stupid. Okay, cool, lovely. Wait, am I actually hitting retry or safe boot? Nah, that's definitely retry. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Because what the retry button is supposed to do is shut the board down completely and then start up again with the same settings. Like it's literally just supposed to try the same settings over and over and over again. It's not supposed to change anything. So okay, now we get a 55. Yeah, and it just wiped itself. Maybe the labels are wrong. maybe the inscription on the board is like that's retry, but it's actually safe boot. Because what this is doing looks like safe boot. So 55, we press this button, nothing happens. That one shuts the board down. And it starts up again, and It wiped itself. Lovely. At this point, I could just be pulling the freaking power supply out of the wall. It would be just as effective. Well, I mean, I never liked the memory controller on this chip ever anyway. Did it? Actually? Oh wait, I did set it back down to 4500. Yeah, so that's no surprise. Okay, we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Let's cut system power. Oh no, that actually wiped the board again. Is that like literally set up to like... Yeah, that did the same thing as if I hit that retry button. Which is not surprising because basically like what I just did was do the exact same thing. So why does it keep wiping itself? Has to be a setting somewhere to get that retry button to behave. Let's ask the manual if there's a way to get the retry button to work. Retry button, reset button allows it. Yeah, so this should work like the Asus one. Why does it wipe the board? Lovely. Awesome. Okay, let's see if the board might have been onto something. Nah, it wasn't. Disabling MRC fast boot helps with Asrock boards. Okay, we'll try that. Nah, the documentation for this board is non-existent. That's the problem. It's not like there's literally nothing, like it's 113 pages and there isn't even a lookup table for what each postcode means. Like that tells you they've not put any thought into it. Freaking Tai Chi manual is a bit more useful than this one for the X370 board. That one at least includes descriptions of every postcode. Wait, where is the MRC fast boot? It's all the way up the bottom, isn't it? MRC VCCIO. Oh, there it is. Disable. That sounds like it would be good. I'll just... Wait, retrain on failure. Oh, wait, that's the boot loop forever. That's the boot loop forever setting from EVGA. I remember that setting. You enable that on the X299 Dark on certain BIOS revisions, that board is never going to post. Because it's just going to keep trying over and over and over and over again forever. And that board doesn't have a safe boot, so then you have to clear your BIOS because you enabled a setting that sounds like it might help you overclock. Oh boy. Try the other RAM slot. Yeah, I've been considering that as well. What settings did we just post? Oh, 4133. Well, that's not surprising that that worked, is it? It's just like, they put way too much effort into the hardware side of their boards, and then none into the actual, like, usability. Which is really unfortunate. I think Asrock could potentially, like, if they really start making a lot of graphics cards, like, if they get successful at making GPUs, I think they could make really good GPUs because GPUs don't have a BIOS on them. So Asrock can't screw it up. That throws an FF. Lovely. Oh, now it's behaving a bit more like the dark, isn't it? Nah, 16, it was at 16 because it just, Did I maybe just get the board to actually act properly? No, I didn't. The retry button still acts like a safe boot. Now, the thing is, the TWR setting that you see when, you know, like right now, is for 2133, because it is the current setting. It's not the actual setting. Because if I actually boot up 4500, which it can, at least should be able to. It wiped again. This board. This freaking board. Try 100. I think I'd have more success with an MSI board. And I might be actually correct about that. In fact, I'm pretty sure MSI did just break the memory frequency record at Computex. Still on FF. Lovely. Memory frequency. 2777. Yeah. Yeah, MSI has max memory clock. On both Z370 and X299, it's MSI. It's not even on the, like, it's not even on the flagship port, it's just on the Pro Carbon, which is a 4-DIMM. I guess we'll try the next memory slot over. Wait, did it just fail to post 4133? It did, didn't it? Yes, it did. And now 4133 works again. What does it set? Oh, see, now it loads up 840, 24. Let's try just lock these all in and see if I can work off of that. These are... This is really interesting. Why is the TCKE so low, though? I can leave the rest alone. I don't know what to do with them anyway. Okay, let's try slowly work it up again. Okay, so that seems to have worked. I think that might have failed. $110? $53. Well, that's a postcode I've never seen before, so... But the retry button on this board doesn't bloody work. Which, technically speaking, the dark also doesn't have a retry button, so that, like, max memory frequency on a dark would also suck. Lovely. Wipes itself. Great. Awesome. I think at this point I'll switch memory slots. Because this is going nowhere. Because it definitely wiped again, didn't it? It didn't. Okay. What next? I mean, I could try bump that up. Just try bump everything up and hope for the best. Kind of lost where to go with this. Oh, that's maxed out. That's not. Good idea after changing all your timings is to check if they bloody work by restarting. Kind of tempted to just try hold the power button, because the retry button doesn't seem to work a whole lot better. It might have worked, actually. Did it wipe? It wiped. Lovely. Great. Awesome. I'll switch memory slots and hope for the best. Okay, that's another FF. Yeah, so that wiped as well. Though at this point I'm going to just say that it's probably me screwing up the timings. Not the board. Yeah, it might be the correct slot, but like with, I think on the Apex I ended up actually like checking the memory slots over and over to find which one clocked better. I ended up using the one nearer to the CPU for my 4.8 gigahertz attempt. Well, it was supposed to be 5, but I ended up at 4.8, so... Lovely. It wiped. It totally wiped again. Did I not disable the retry counter? And I missed the BIOS. Don't you have to raise the timings altogether? No, you don't. You don't need to do it proportionally. Yeah, it wiped. Lovely. Great. Exactly what I wanted. If you can't, like, what are you cooling it with? Would be my suspicion. For the 8086K, like, what are you cooling it with for 1.425? Because, like, that's a lot of voltage. If that chip is not delidded, I'd be surprised it, like, it wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just too hot. Yeah, and also if you're running LLC, what LLC? So we're back to what the board said itself. Except for the TCKE and the rest. And that FF code is really starting to get on my nerves. Like, this is worse than the dark on that. This does it all the freaking time. The dark would do it like once, like, a little bit. Not this. It probably wiped. It wiped. Lovely. How much does an Apex go for right now? This really sucks, because if, like, I don't actually, like... I mean, I can try the dark later, but, like, I'm not gonna switch it right now, but, I don't have high hopes for the dark. Because I know for a fact that one isn't, like, supposed to be particularly good for KB Lake X. Like, it straight up, like, for example, the RTL settings are straight up not available in the BIOS for KB Lake X because all the development focus was on Skylake. Oh, right, this is Asrock BIOS. You have to double tap after tapping A. Because navigating it could be clunkier, too. I'm not reviewing any Asrock boards. Screw it, ever again. I paid way too much for this board for it to be this obnoxious to work with. and the Tai Chi before it. Okay, well, I'll just let the board do its own thing and see if it can get anywhere. But so far, it's been proving very, very unsuccessful. Yeah, and there goes the FF code again, because of course. Yeah, they, like, the thing is, it's like, Asrock could legitimately go and spend a little bit less on MOSFETs and a lot more on their BIOS. So, that's basically the main issue I have with them. Also, maybe just on, like, board layout, because the postcode in the bottom edge here is dumb. Yay, it wiped again. So, no, the board isn't smarter than me, the board is just as unsuccessful. Where does this even go to? 7. Let's try 2. Seriously? Did that make that work? No way did that make that work. It's totally a 2133 still. It is so totally at 2133. Oh. I guess that's the DLL BWN setting from the ROG boards then. Would it be nice if it said what the setting was for? Well, progress. Progress at last. Because, like, the thing is, right, if I designed this BIOS, and I knew that this setting affects how high you can clock the frequency, then you would have mentioned that... Wait, what? It's back to 0. What the fuck? Did I not just set that to 2? Like, I just set that to 2, didn't I? Like, before. And then it went to Windows at 2272. And then I went into the BIOS and it was gone again. Like, Asrock boards are freaking possessed. It wiped. It totally wiped. Yeah, it wiped. Great, awesome, lovely. I can't go anywhere because the board keeps resetting itself at random. Oh, wait, no, that's not the... Oh, yeah, it just wipes that... This is exactly like the same issue with every single Asrock board I've ever dealt with. Is just like, the BIOS is clunky, it's slow, it's janky to navigate, and a lot of the time, you run into situations where you change something, then you restart, you check the BIOS, and it wiped itself for no... Like, the board decided that it knows better than you, and resets that setting for you, which is just like... The board should never, ever overwrite something that I entered, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it should never, ever do that. And there's a few boards from Asrock out there which will do that for your voltages, which is just incredibly dumb. Okay, so this seems to be pretty, like, working right now, which is really suspicious because I don't know why it's working. Because this says 0. If I set it to 1, will something change? Yeah, it throws an FF. Lovely. FF again. And again. Now, did it wipe or did it work? Nah, it wiped. Okay. So now the setting is back to 0. So if oh no, now what? So can I or can I not set it to 2? Now it trains again. Yeah, 45, 46 again, so that's cool. What is this? What the hell is this? Like, why can't the freaking settings stick? It's just like, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Why? Nobody bloody knows. It's like the freaking, just... So, and if I change BCLK, how much you want to bet that it's going to wipe that setting again? Okay, so that throws another FF. And another FF. Okay, now it's posting, but it probably wiped. Yeah, it wiped. Okay. But is my setting still there? That is the question. That wiped too. Everything else is still here. You know, the timings are still here, the BCLK, the memory ratio, all still there. All my core CPU settings, still there. Voltage configuration, still there. And then this random freaking setting in the RAM just randomly comes and goes like how am I, like, I can't even test what the setting does if I don't know if it applies or not. Screw this. Like, seriously, screw this. I'm done. It's like this board has so many problems. Like, wait, I'll give Asrock one chance to fix this, okay? I'll update the BIOS to the latest one, because the box has been, like, the board's been sitting in its box for ages and ages and ages. So it's probably horrifically out of date. And maybe, just maybe, they have a BIOS which is less retarded. But with all probability, it's just as retarded. Okay, that's the prime BIOS. We can delete that. BIOS. I wonder if they even updated the BIOS. So most recent BIOS is 1.03. And that's a new microcode. There's also 1.02, which I'm 1.2, which I'm pretty sure I'm already on. I'm just going to check what revision I'm on. If we could get into the system. I'm on 1.2. Yeah, so there's 3 BIOS revisions for this board. 1.1, 1.2, 1.4. So it's not like I was even on that outdated a BIOS version. Oh, what did I click on? Why is the BIOS 13 megabytes? And their website is slow. I mean, I am streaming at the same time, but my internet has, like, I have a lot of download speed. So, that, and it's an exe file. I mean, that is my fault, because I clicked on the Windows version of the BIOS, so that's me not reading it, but... Their site manages to get slower somehow. It's now 400 kilobytes per second. Lovely. Slow BIOS and slow website. At least they're consistent. Okay, probability that this will fix anything. 1%. I'm going to give it 1% chance that this will actually make anything better. Update. We have finished flashing already? Oh boy. I think that might brick the board at this rate. I should have reset the BIOS before I started flashing it. Oh, well, at least it has dual BIOS. So, if I did screw it up, okay, it is. Okay, so I think it'll make it. I'll be fine. Oh boy. Imagine doing a BIOS flash while on LN2. I've done that. I think. I've installed Windows on LN2, so I'm no straight. Like, that's why you really, really want dual BIOS, so that you can update your BIOS on liquid nitrogen. Or, you know, actually the funny thing is, it's like, so I rip on boards for not having dual BIOS a lot, but I've thought about this for a bit, and honestly, if the boards just used a socketed BIOS chip, right, and then had a spare BIOS chip in the box with them, I would consider that a valid dual BIOS implementation. because that would give you, like, yeah, just have an extra, like, use a socketed BIOS and then have a spare BIOS chip in the motherboard box. Like, bam, there. Probably the cheapest way to implement dual BIOS possible. And I would, like, consider that a valid way of doing things. Because there's no point having a socketed BIOS if you have one BIOS chip, right? Because if you screw up that one chip, you're still gonna have to, like, go through the RMA go through the customer support, and they're gonna have to ship you a BIOS and like a good BIOS chip, or you're gonna have to ship them your bad BIOS chip so that they can flash it for you. And like both of those are a massive waste of time. They should just put a BIOS chip in the box, in the motherboard box with the board. And then put a socket on the board. That would be pretty neat. Yeah, they, like, the thing is, like, Asus and a lot of companies used to do socketed BIOSes, and now it's like nobody does them. So you either have, and the thing is, when Asus did do socketed BIOS, like, the Rampage 4 Extreme has 2 socketed BIOS chips, which is just, like, bloody great. It's dual BIOS, and they're both socketed, which is like, okay, so that's really nice, but honestly, that is, like, it's redundant levels of, like, being able to recover. Yeah, technically speaking, a socketed BIOS is an additional cost. But hey, you know, you could just leave out one RGB header and give us a socketed BIOS. Like, that'd be a great trade, honestly. Because literally what the cost is, instead of soldering on a BIOS chip, you're soldering on a socket, and then you have to socket a chip into that. So you have to pay extra for the and I think actually maybe the socketed BIOS chip package might be a bit more expensive than your usual surface mount BIOS chip. Okay, so now we're on the latest latest microcode, which incidentally, this microcode, this new one, it has, if you run Skylake X on liquid nitrogen, this microcode completely screws over your VCC-IO and VCC-SA voltages. I actually got to talk to Kingpin, well, I chatted to Kingpin about this a little bit, because they made a new BIOS for the dark, which, like, fixes an issue where, like, there was an old BIOS for the dark where you could do, like, 3.9 gigahertz on core, or mesh, on liquid nitrogen, and the thing is, you needed, like, a ridiculously high VCC-IO voltage. But if you use the most recent public BIOS, the problem is, if you set your VCC-IO voltage above 1.15 volts, the board won't even, like, boot up on liquid nitrogen at all. And apparently it's entirely because of the new microcode, because the latest BIOS has the new microcode. So they basically went and took, like, so I'm not sure what they actually did, but basically the newest BIOS is much, 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 much better at memory overclocking than the really old one that had the better mesh overclocking. So it's like there's right now there's like an engineering sample BIOS which merges those two together so that you have like a high mesh OC, high memory clock BIOS. I need to try that out. I'm really happy I bought that second 35-liter DWAR because now I can go and run the 7940X some more. Anyway, let's see if this new BIOS fixes bloody anything. All core 32, 22. Right, double tap because Asrock, lovely. 100. Okay, so that's interesting. Oh, I guess it gets disabled when you set the ratio below turbo boost. No, not that one. The nice thing is, at least Asrock figured out how to make the RAM ratio selection menu work. Because Asus can't get that working. Like, it's always really laggy. Or it starts from the wrong end. So that works. You have a good scrolling menu there. That works great. Everything else doesn't, but There's one thing I can appreciate, having a frequency select, like ratio select that actually bloody works. I think I'll just try, like, let the board do its own thing and hope that it knows what it's doing. Again. I mean, that has so far not been successful whatsoever, but we'll see. That's SA? Yeah, that is SA. Technically speaking, you should have these two voltages within 50 millivolts of each other. Just bump up the system agent a bit. I think I've done everything I really need. Yeah. Just realized that this BIOS has typos. Has typos? Oh yeah, that's normal. Though I think that's actually... I'm not sure that I haven't seen typos in the BIOS from other companies. Though I do know for a fact that I've noticed that Asrock seems to have it a lot. Though I don't really see, like typos in the BIOS I wouldn't really mind. Like, I wouldn't mind. The whole settings not sticking and that kind of thing, that is a real problem. Why won't you keep going up? Okay, 4450 works. 110. That's where it stopped last time. Maybe I could try copy off the memory timings that I have for, like, the Maximus 9 Apex. Okay, so 4546 works. Now if I raise it to 111, it'll stop posting. Or more like it'll wipe itself without telling us. Yeah, it wiped itself. Yeah, I saw the comment about the XMP settings past auto, the hell? Oh, looks like the new BIOS did at least upgrade memory clock range a bit. That's nice. How is it slow? Why is it so... It manages... It just got slower. How does it do that? It is, yeah, it is. The BIOS has literally slowed down. Oh boy, lovely. Why does it keep insisting on setting the TCWL so low? Now it's doing a lot better in the frequency department. Oh no, it's not. It's just being itself. It is showing us how it can just wipe the settings whenever it feels like it, without warning, without any indication that there's any issue with the system. Your RAM goes to 2133, and the BIOS is fast again. Oh. I get the feeling that this isn't ever like gonna even get close to what my Maximus 9 Apex did. Starting to think I'd have more success with that mini ITX Gigabyte board. Assuming that I didn't degrade the memory controller on my 7700K, because I still don't know if it was the CPU or the motherboard there. I wonder if it just doesn't like the TRFC set. It's because the AIO is not straight. Why don't I have a Rampage 6? Because I haven't bought one. Asus didn't send one. If Asus had sent one, I wouldn't have this thing. Because I basically went and like bought this thing because it's like, well, it has a bigger VRM than a Rampage and it's cheaper than a Rampage. And everybody on Hardware Bot loves Asrock. It can't possibly suck this much, can it? Oh. That's what I get for like giving the same company, like, because I've had a lot, like I've had quite a few Asrock boards, and I've never liked any of them. What, the X299 Dark? No, the X299 Dark just isn't optimized for KB like X. Like, if you ask the guys who worked on the Dark, they'll tell you that they basically checked that it runs 4000, and that's it, as far as I know. Because, honestly, like, that board costs $500. So, like, running a KB like X CPU doesn't really make that much sense on it. Though, like, I would prefer if the Dark was actually good with KB like X, but then I could be on a board that doesn't have a janky freaking BIOS. It just slows down at random as you change settings. Oh, so this did go up. Interesting. 42, 21. Yeah, okay, 18. Take your word on it. 30. Let's try this. Come on. Jesus Christ, this BIOS is like Asus boards also do this, where if you run them at certain settings, they just slow down to a crawl, but the thing is, every single setting input here takes about 50% more, like, key presses, so it just takes even longer. 1, 4, 4, 7. This is painful. This BIOS is running at like 3 FPS. Like, well, let's lock in everything. I might try the Dark off stream just to check if it's any better, but I really, really doubt it, because like that board, I know for a fact that they didn't really bother to check how well it does with KB Lake. Like even on Skylake X, it was like there's that board is like there's a few oversights here and there on that the Dark, which okay, so 77.4. How does that even work? Like, okay, well, I don't know what any of these are by default, so just leave them alone. and see if this will work. I'm like, oh, now it doesn't. I'm locking in the timings so that in theory the board doesn't like try to retrain them, but that evidently didn't work because it just went back to 2133. One of them was 21 and you put in 2. Oh boy. Okay, I'll go hunt down the 2. This one? No, that's fine. This one. Nah, fast boot's still on. Oh, now it's throwing 0, 0. That might be really bad, actually. Because, like, 0, 0 postcode means, in a lot of, like, on most boards, that would mean CPU not detected. And generally speaking, that means your CPU's dead. But evidently not. Still at 2133. Lovely. There, fast boot's turned off again. No, it throws a 0, 0. Like... It was doing better when I left everything on auto, even though I literally just copied the settings that auto set. Oh, man. I think it's the RTLs. At least that's my suspicion. Put those back to auto and see what happens. Okay, so it looks like it was the RTLs or the board's being dumb again. I'm starting to think that it was the RTLs, because now it's really slow. Yeah, it was the RTLs. Okay, so... I love how, like, the setting they have there shows 2 different numbers, but there's only one input field. 6777. So I'm guessing I'm supposed to use the 67.7 side of that, because the 77.4 side didn't work. Yeah, okay, that patched it up. Where's my phone buzzing? Nah? Nothing. Okay. Let's see if we can go back up the frequency again. I think it's actually, yeah. Well, at least from this BCLK upwards, I know that it's running properly because the BIOS just gets ridiculously unresponsive. It's like if I'm staring at a black screen for a suspiciously long time, it actually applied the settings. So that's nice. Let's see if we can do 4600 just off of this. I don't think it will. Yeah, it looks like it's fast again. Oh no, it's still slow. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting somewhere at last. Not gonna touch those anymore. It's really interesting that the well, whatever. I'm not gonna touch any typings until it stops posting again. My highest memory clock is 4.84 gigahertz. So this is actually 200 megahertz off my record. Oh look, now it's back to 2133. Why thank you, Motherboard. You're so cooperative. You could have told me before you booted up with the freaking postcode you have. This is the basic one. Max that out. This one seems like it likes to be higher. That can definitely go there. I really want to set this one higher as well. But this was a frequency that previously worked, so let's try. Oh, yeah, this works again. Yeah, I'm running everything, like, for max memory clock, you want to run everything as slow as possible. Oh, now the BIOS is fast again. I swear this board is possessed. Okay, that's boot looping again. Thing is, I don't even know what the BIOS update did, and it's now like, yeah, okay, that failed. Yeah, it failed. Lovely. Would that work? An artist does not blame his tools. Yeah. The response to that on the chat, that is what I'm going with. Whoever said that has never used possessed tools. Or an Asrock motherboard. Like, to some extent, yeah, I'm not the world's best memory overclocker. Well, actually, I'm definitely not the world's best memory overclocker, but I've had a lot more success on a lot of other boards, so it can't just be me. that's fine. Think of what I could... I think 800 is stock and 1100 is a slight increase. Max out the slew rate. That just changes the ramp. How long would it take to swap over? I mean, it wouldn't take long. I just don't... Well, no, I'd need to pull the 7700K out of the Apex, which would take a while. And also, I don't want to give up that quickly, because RAM overclocking is just... It just sucks. Like, literally, it just sucks. Because when I first got this kit of B-Die, I spent 20 hours? Or something like that. Like, at least... something between 14 and 20 hours with the Maximus 9 Apex just sitting there and trying memory settings over and over and over again. And at the end of that, I had 4000 CL12 working, and I got to 4500 megahertz, which at the time was pretty good. And yeah, but it took 14 bloody hours. And this, like, I've never used this 7740X. I've barely used this motherboard. I've only ever used it on Skylake X. So basically, until I put in like 20 hours, I'm not considering this finished. Not that I'm gonna stream 20 hours. That would be insane, but I wouldn't, like, I don't, like, as much as I'm hating on the board, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't pass permanent judgment on, like, I'm not saying the board is incapable of doing 4.8 gigahertz. I wouldn't rule that out, like, with more time, it might, so, yeah. Yeah, if I streamed for 20 hours, I'd get qualified for partner status. Unfortunately, I plan to... Well, no, actually it wouldn't, because I need to... like, there's a number of hours they want, but there's also a number of streams they want, so... Yeah, I need to do both. That looks like a boot loop. It just failed again. I wish the board would just freaking hang when it fails. Like, you know how much nicer it would be if the board just hanged on a postcode when it fails? Because then it's not like, you know, you don't even, like, get your hopes up. Because, like, it just sits there not posting. And you're like, oh, okay, I've screwed up. Instead of like, oh, it's going to post, it's going to oh, we're back at 2133. This thing also doesn't have a boot voltage, which is rather annoying. Which is a setting ROG boards have, like the Apex has, which was, if I remember correctly, quite useful for max memory overclock. I don't think anybody would want to watch 20 hours of me overclocking RAM. Like, seriously, it's so boring. Okay, so even that doesn't work. At least the board doesn't need me to, like, retrain it. Oops. Okay, so that's something. What do I do about these? I really just want to set that one to 21 and... This is going to be so painful, because basically it's... Oh, no, it failed. Lovely. Okay, so it definitely doesn't like that. So that's odd, because generally speaking, TCWL equals TCL is, like, fine. Yeah, but the thing is, it's just like, you need to change a setting, check if it works at the frequency you're already at, then bump up the frequency, then go back down. The worst part is that there's often like a combination of things you need to do at the same time to go forward. And then it's just like you're going to be sitting there forever. No, I'm back at the same settings as before, so changing it now won't make a bloody difference. I need to change something. Let's try 10 there. I think that worked. I'm not entirely sure. It looked like it might have boot looped. Moment of truth. Is the BIOS very slow? Yes, it is. Okay, so that did work. Yeah, I already had TCWL 20, I think, before. Okay, now that's boot looping again. Well, that didn't break anything, but it certainly didn't help. Okay, still works. Maybe more voltage. No, 0.94 there. Let's try with 1.85. I wonder what the temperature of the CPU is. It's fine. Yeah, this worked. That boot looped. TWR is way too close to being way too low. We're at 2133 again. I mean, it maxes out to 31. Well, I mean, worst case scenario, it won't post. Which, at least this board is good about not wiping itself. Oh, that worked. I honestly didn't expect that to work. Just maxing it out like that. Funny thing is, on the Apex, all I had to do was max out the TRFC. Like, max out the TCL, no, not max out, but 21, 31, 63, and then max the TRFC. And then play with the DLL bandwidth setting. That was basically all I had to do on the Apex. No, still boot looping. It's not TWR that's causing the problem. Could try the other stick of BDI. System failed to boot. Lovely. Well, this is... Damn it, I didn't label which one of these is better. I just labeled which one goes where. I think this one's the better one, though. Hey, what? Did it reset? RAM temperature, it kinda does. But BDI is basically, BDI clocks best at room temperature. Well, actually no, some kits will scale a little bit with LN2, with, well, cold. Like they'll work at, like they'll overclock better at minus 50. Wait, now 4628 works. What? What changed? Why is it working now when it wasn't working before? This is why I hate BDI. Just randomly comes and goes. Man, scrolling through this BIOS right now. Oh boy, this is painful. Using a mouse in the BIOS. Ugh. $46.50? No, it's boot looping again. Yeah, that didn't work. Kind of tempted to try raise this. A fan on the... It's like... It's like comfortably warm to the touch right now. I'm gonna say it's at like 35 or something. It's fine. Okay, well, I'll try BCLK up on in Windows. Okay, no, apparently that RTL setting I set is wrong. Did it just reset itself, or did it just work? Oh no, I hit the retry, so of course it wiped itself. Lovely. Passed that setting, didn't I? There it is. No, it's boot looping. I still feel like this would be easier if I just had an Asus board. Boot looping again. Why are you boot looping now? This didn't used to cause any issues, these settings that I'm trying. This sucks so badly. Try switch the memory slots around again? I mean, I guess I could, but I want to get into Windows and see where the BCLK drops out. Assuming I can even make it into Windows. I don't know if there's max mem. There should be. Okay, we're in Windows. Yay! You know, I'd be really interested to try out one of those, like, super high stock memory clock kits. Just to see if it would be easier with one of those. As much as I doubt it. Now the janky built-in OC utility. There we go, it's finally fired up. Now I can try change the BCLK. Oh no, that's the CPU ratio. That's not what I wanted to change. Alt 1. Please no crash. Okay, that worked. Okay, still working. 113, still working. I'm impressed it hasn't locked up already. Well, more like surprised rather than impressed. There's no way this is, like, at this rate, I'm never making it to 2400 in there. Eh? Yeah, there it goes. Okay, driver IRQL, not less. Okay, that's just a regular memory crash right there. I guess I'll try the same settings on the different memory slot. We could also try the next memory stick. Actually, I have 4 sticks of B-die, so we can just go through all of them. One of them has to clock better. This is why it's just like, oh yeah, it takes forever. The more RAM you have, the more memory kits you can try. The more you're gonna hate yourself. when you realize that the first one was actually the best one. It's always fun. Go. I'm just getting the other two memory sticks. Did we actually boot in at a... Well, we're not really... Well, it kind of is binning, isn't it? But this is max memory frequency overclocking, and basically, the only way up is with more memory. Why isn't CPU-Z opening? Get a bloody move on. I'd be really impressed. Yeah, okay, so we are still at the crazy high memory frequency. Good. Well, it's not exactly crazy high. It would be crazy high if we were at like 2500, but we're at only 2300. Oh, now the utility starts up quickly. Like, it's like all Asrock software is the same. It's inconsistent. Okay, let's go. BCLK up we go. 12. 12 is good. 12.5. 12.5 is good. 13. No, 13. 13's good. $114? That worked last time, didn't it? Yeah, 114 still works. Might be actually, like, completely irrelevant which memory slot you... Oh, no, this looks like it's going further. Yeah, so I was right. This memory slot is better. Let's try that. Oh, nope, that locked up again. But 2366, I think, is better than what I had last time. So that memory slot seems to definitely be better for max memory clock. Wait, is Blown Gunslinger, like, Gunslinger from HW bot? Because I've been wondering about that for a bit now. No, okay. $2366 is a little over 4,700. Yeah, this memory slot's just straight up better than the other one. I think. Yeah, it is. Because it's slow again. IRQL not less or equal is just random memory errors. Like, it's not related to... Like, if your memory voltage is too low, it'll throw it, but it's not like... It's very specific about when your memory voltage... Like, you can get it with... Well, I mean, technically speaking, every error is like your voltage is too low, but it's like a standard memory error. If we start at a higher BCLK, the probability that we make it to an even higher one is higher. In theory, at least. It tends to work that way. Like, you can go up a certain amount past what you can boot. Yeah, this memory slot's so much better than that other one. Kind of feel tempted to try boot at like 114. Okay, that actually won't bloody work. But we could try that. Have you ever considered that looking at a black screen is somehow relaxing? I don't know. Yay, I actually posted. Yeah, okay, I think at this point it might actually have a good chance at a 4800 because we're doing 4700, and if I go through all the memory sticks, as long as this isn't my best stick, one of the other ones is going further. Wait, did I seriously run out of energy drink? Yeah, I did. Great. Stuck with water. Okay, well, the board has basically managed to redeem itself at this point. It's still incredibly janky, but at least it's capable. The thing I don't like about max memory clock, or actually just memory overclocking in general, is just... I don't really know what I'm doing. It's just over time, I sort of, like... That's why I don't have, like, a full, proper memory overclocking guide, is because it's just, like... I kind of I basically overclock memory by just messing with it for, like, hours and hours and hours, and then going like, oh yeah, if there's this general trend that you can sort of see over time if you do it for long enough. What? Oh, okay. That was just the capture card. Boop, boop, boop. Uh-huh. Please don't die. Don't die. Don't die. Don't stop. There's just something I'm like this also about max CPU frequency on FX CPUs. Just something. It's such a primitive, you know, style of benchmarking, but there's just something about it that gives me a rush. Come on. The utility break or something? .4.8, here we go. Just a little more. 10 more megahertz. 10 more. And it locked up. But it's close. It is really close. It is so freaking close. I'm just gonna check my old record because I'm not 100% certain on it. Like what exactly I hit, but I just know it was somewhere around like it should be 484. Okay, no, it was 4855. Okay. I don't think it's maxed out. I think it could go higher. Like, even on, still on just this memory stick. Let's try that. That's maxed out. Actually, those two I should be able to just set straight to 15 and call it a day. Yeah, it's still posting. I'm gonna shove more VDIM in it. Also, I'm going to throw a fan on the RAM. McCulty was right. It could benefit from being at actual room temperature instead of slightly above it. Where did the fan go? There's the fan! Well, as an AMD fan, what you gonna do about it? AMD fan for an AMD fan. Ugh. I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited. It's still a janky motherboard. It's just kind of good at what it does. Once you, like, coax it into cooperating. Stupid utility that every second in Windows is a second closer to a crash. Open, damn it! Okay, well, let's see if that... Could you freaking run? There we go. Junk. Okay. Ooh, I forgot I could disable cores. That's another thing. Disable your cores and disable hyperthreading. Disable everything. Just make the system as slow as freaking possible. Oh, boy. Oh. Wait, what the hell? WTF? Interesting. Well, oh, now it's locked up. My particular 7700K, like there was 7700Ks that could do over 5 gigahertz DDR4 and mine wouldn't. What the hell? Why am I now getting a 0-0? Are you kidding me? Did the board... Did it just kill the CPU? Where's the dual? No, that's the BIOS. There's a jumper on this board for the BIOS. Where is it? Where is the BIOS jumper? This one? I don't even have anything to jump it with, though. It's still a 0-0. What the f... I don't want to wipe the BIOS. I didn't save a profile. Can't do this to me. Wait. What jumper is that? FBJ. 32. BIOS B select jumper. Okay, I did find the right jumper, now I just need to find something to jump it with. And it needs to stay jumped while it's booting up, which is the dumb part, which is why I'm not just going to put my finger across it. Oh, I know where I can get a jumper. So that's not currently in use. I can steal it from here. Better boot up now. Well, I think the chip might be dead. Which is really what the hell. I didn't even do that much to it. Nah, the board's just retarded. Let's see if I actually made it onto the second BIOS or not. Because if I just wipe the primary, then I'm going to be royally annoyed. Yes, I'm on the backup. Phew! Okay. Well, that's a problem. And seriously, they should have a freaking BIOS switch. Like, 400-pound board. And they give you a freaking jumper for the dual BIOS functionality. Like, how cheap can you get? 2-phase memory power that will never ever even get to 10% of its total power delivery capacity. But, you know, BIOS on a jumper. Anyway, I think we're good now. Man, working with Asrock boards. It's like, I guess everybody at the Asrock OC lab is like an adrenaline junkie or something. They gotta get a heart attack before they get their world before they get their world record. Though you can't deny, like, it's a capable board, it's just awful to work with. 4700 B die. D died. 4700 B died. Yeah, sure, that'll work. Nah, the problem was, like, what happened was that I got into Windows and for whatever reason the BCLK shot up to like 200. And because the software bugged out, and then the board, I guess, was trying to post at 200 BCLK, which was just never gonna bloody work. It's a capable board. It just freaking murders you to do anything. Yeah, we're back to 2360. 2360. So we're back at just over 4700 megahertz for memory clock. And now if the janky ass OC utility could start working, that would be bloody great. There we go. Yeah, this lovely thing right here, that's where it stopped working. Okay, Alt-1. If I press plus. Yeah. Just, oh boy, I need to like boot in at like 116 then. There's no chance otherwise. Yeah, 2407. It's like 117. Six more megahertz, baby, you can do it. And it locked up. Unexpected, yeah, it's normal. It's normal, it's normal, it's normal, because it's just gonna be crashing so much. Yeah, that's a lot of boards though. Like even the Apex, it's just like for all the issues, this is just obnoxious because you can't, like, it's unpredictable. The Apex is obnoxious because it's predictably like painful to get anywhere. It's like, let's do 4000 CL12. Sure, we're gonna do 4000 CL12 build Zoid. You just need to restart me 10 freaking times. Okay, but we need to boot in at a much, much higher frequency because otherwise it has no bloody chance of reaching the settings I want. For this price point, is the board not bad? Not really, because your experience on, like, if you were at a Rampage 6 Apex, it might not do some of the things that I really hate on this one, but it would do Asus things. Like, Asus has a few signature things with their motherboards which are just infuriating. Wait, did it just fail to... It just failed. Lovely. But there's basically, if you want to do extreme overclocking, you just got to get used to the fact that all the boards have like weird quirks to them. Just Asrock has a lot of really inconsistent quirks that I really hate. So it's kind of pick your own poison, in my opinion. My preferred poison is Gigabyte. But some people prefer Asrock poison. It would be neat if I had like a running update of the highest frequency achieved somewhere on the stream. It's not even Gigabyte used to be really, really solid. It's just Gigabyte is really inconsistent. Like, Gigabyte is fully capable of making one really, really good board, and the entire rest of the lineup for a given generation can suck. And they can make one great board and everything else be awful. And then the next generation, it can be like, yeah, they're just kind of like all over the place. Whereas Asrock, like, they're consistently this. Like, I've never had an Asrock board which didn't behave like this. I have had Asrock boards which just don't overclock very well compared to this right here. And now the OC utility starts in a flash. Come on. Update, damn it. The utility break or something? Starting to think the utility broke. No. Okay, it's working again. Yes! More! More! More. We still haven't disabled hyper-threading and extra cores. Yes! Validate! We need to validate. Don't extreme OC mode. What? No. BZ. I don't know where to save it to. Save. Wait, isn't there like... What's the hotkey for that? I think there's... F4? Anybody remember what the hotkey for saving CPU Z valids is? Oh wait, that's the BIOS key. Or is it F2? Alt F4. I fell for that, really? Oh boy. Thank you. Thank you, chat, for being so helpful. Seriously. Love you. Mick, could you ban the guy who suggested that? Actually, no. Don't actually ban him. But man, seriously. I'm doing something very serious here. It's like, oh yeah, press Alt F4. There, okay, that's saved. It's F7. Raise the frequency? Oh no. What the hell? Alt 1? Did it look up? No, why is it just switching between them? Alt 1. The hell? Alt A? No. Alt A. Oh, now I'm very confused why the utility isn't working again. Alt N. Okay, now that just brings up the menu. Oh no, that does actually switch which option you're on. Okay, there we go. Oh, and it locked up. Saved and locked up, so that's 244. Wait, who would you want? Twitch against cyberbullying? Okay, so we now do... Yeah, 4888, I think. I'm not sure what I actually managed to save. Has to be some way to go faster. Come on, board. Can go higher. I think I failed. Yeah, but I was right to choose this board. It's definitely capable of high frequencies. It's just very uncooperative. Oh boy. Wait, did my dumbass save a profile yet? Didn't change anything, right? Yeah, it didn't. Okay, it did. Yeah, one of the other 3 sticks could be faster, but I'm not swapping sticks until this one's maxed out. Like, I'm gonna max this one out, then write down where it stopped, and onto the stick, and then move on to the next one. I'd really like to be able to boot in at a higher frequency. Okay, that still worked. You know what would really suck? If tomorrow I take the 8086K, stick it in the Gigabyte Gaming 7, and that does 5 gigahertz like first boot. That would make me feel like such a freaking idiot. I don't think that would actually happen, though. Actually, I'm like certain that would not happen. Asrock Rapid OC. It is anything but rapid. Run as admin. Just open, please. I wonder how much memory this has available. Performance. Yeah, okay, it is max memmed. There we go, you're finally up. Alt-1. Get ready for the F7s, and here goes BCLKOC. There we go, new validation. And that locked up. So I'm going to call that it for these settings, because they are now locking up like pretty consistently. So I think this is where this stick is probably, the stick stops. Just gonna do one thing. I'm gonna transfer out the file so that I can upload it up. Okay, there's a minor problem. Date modified. $946, yes. Man, this whole computer is like disintegrating. You can see how the operating system is just doing its best to not crash immediately. Okay, I'm just gonna check that. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the HT and the cores next. And then after that, I think I'm gonna swap sticks at last. But first, I want to do a validation. Validation. I'm logged in. Cool. Select your file. Yes! And there's the validation. So 244.7. That's good. It's pretty damn good compared to the fact that I was like stuck at 4,500 for like the beginning of the stream. I'm surprised there's such a massive improvement in memory overclocking from like the third BIOS revision. I wouldn't have expected it to make such a difference considering that they only had 3 revisions. Because like with Asus, you get so many BIOS updates. It's crazy how many BIOSes they put out. Disable. Disable. Active processor cores 1. I might actually break 4900 on this memory stick. One of the 4 I have has to do 5 gigahertz at this point. Like, there's no way one of them doesn't do 5 gigahertz. Stay hydrated, bot. You've been live for just over 3 hours. Yeah. What do you think the water was for? Anyway, and yeah, I'm aware that's a bot. DRAM configuration. So now it's not posting again. Lovely! I'm still gonna say that the postcode, like the postcode on this motherboard is borderline useless because if it gets stuck on something, you won't know what that something is. But at least the board is now clocking RAM properly. Let's just put it that way. And I still don't like the board. I am just conceding defeat in that it is actually good at memory overclocking. At least max memory frequency. It's evidently pretty good at that. This is why I said earlier that it takes like the last time I was doing like really testing memory a lot, I spent 20 hours on it. Because you just never know. Maybe you're being an idiot and it's not the memory's fault. It's not the board's fault. It's not the CPU's. You're just dumb. It sucks that it takes so long to figure that out though. You like it, don't you? Here's the thing. At this point, no, I'm standing by. Like, this is a janky freaking BIOS. It is a janky freaking board. The postcode's in the wrong bloody place. Asrock really needs to rethink their user experience with their motherboards, but that's exactly where I was like before. But the hardware is capable if the software weren't so freaking obnoxious. Like, yeah, the postcode, as Ground says, the postcode is relatively useful for telling if the board is actually, like, posting or not posting at all. It's pretty useful in that sense. Windows, what are you doing? Stop being idiotic. There we go. Oh, right, it's running on one core. At 800 megahertz. It's at 800 megahertz, right? Yeah, it's 900 megahertz. You pieced out for an hour. You missed me breaking my memory clock record. That's the new one. I still don't like this board, but I do concede that it is pretty good at memory overclocking. Now this stream's been going for 3 hours. Oh, and yeah, you also missed somebody managing to get me with the good old Alt F4. Which I can't believe I fell for that. That is just so, like... The thing is, like, I don't use Alt F4 in my day-to-day usage. So it's like, I don't automatically think, oh, it's gonna shut the program. Also, I'm evidently too trusting of my lovely chat, you know, of my lovely audience. Wait, did it just... What's it? Oh, right, the Asrock software utility is hanging! It's hanging! Of course it is. Oh, now it's running properly again. We had to go, like, all the way over 18, didn't we? Get ready with that F7. That clutch F7. Okay, we've validated that before. Okay, yeah. Okay, the extra cores did not help. But we have 1 stick down, 3 sticks to go. I'm feeling pretty good about this now. Okay, so what am I gonna write down on you? Was it 4? Yeah, so I'm gonna write down, this is a 2 fat pen. Yeah, this one's good. I don't really anywhere to write on that. I need some kind of sticky. What was it? 2447. Yeah. So 2447774 AHOCF. There. That's that stick. Labeled. I mean, I'm just gonna show you what there. Board, CPU, frequency. I don't really need anything more than that. I should probably write down the timings after I'm done with this. Like the timings I'm using right now. So this is one of the newer sticks I have. My old sticks, these were my... So these were the first two sticks I got sent from Team Group. And they're both with this, like, blue... They're both on the blue... Wait. Blue label. And these two are newer, and they have a black label. And I'm actually not sure which one of them... Like, they're both sets are supposed to be, like, hand-binned. But I'm not sure which set is better. So I think I'll still go through this one. And then we'll move on to the black ones. So I'm putting in the second blue one. And all four of these sticks are 3733 CL18. I think it's really just an aesthetic difference, the thing with the sticker. Like, they just decided that the blue sticker looks ugly instead of the black one. Oh, this stick seems to be much worse. Like, like it already failed to post, I think. I'm just gonna throw in another stick and try the same, because honestly, like, they should all... Like, they might have different voltage tolerances, but they should all clock the same. Like, in terms of timings. So, first let's start at like 1550. Yeah, okay, this stick seems to, like, suck. Yeah, because it just failed again. Maybe different VTT tolerance? That could be it. So that's funny, that stick's good. Okay, now it's booting. Yeah, it might have been the VTT. I mean, I did just crank down the frequency, but I'll bring it right back up. Yeah, now it fires right up. So yeah, it was a VTT thing. So that's exactly what I was saying. They might have slightly different voltage tolerances, but otherwise they should clock exactly the same. Well, up to a point. Obviously some sticks are going to be better than other sticks, but like they shouldn't need different timing. They should just need different voltage. So I wonder if this stick is able to boot straight 116, because the other ones weren't. Well, the previous one wasn't. Yeah, the CPU is like way underclocked for the sake of memory stability. Well, stability. Okay, so this one seems to be... Okay, now that the VTT DDR is under control, this one seems to be very similar to the last one. It won't boot 116. Yeah, it won't do 116, but it'll do... Actually, no, it's boot looping this. Yeah. If it... I've figured this board out. If it throws a bunch of 15s in a row, it's boot looping. Yeah, for the CPU set... Well, actually, they're set to 32, but... Boot performance... Oh, yeah. Let's set everything to 8. Just to be consistent. But, there. Yeah, we could try even less VTT DDR, now that I think about it. Yeah, this stick seems to be a tad worse. It'll probably max out around 2400. Actually, this might be the stick I used for my 4840, so it might actually just do 2420. Let's try less VTT DDR again. That tends to be like... it's just the boot mode for the BIOS. Basically, it just boots at low frequency. And the setting name is silly. Okay, well that didn't help. Yeah, I'm doing max frequency. Like it says in the the stream is literally called DDR4 memory clock on X299. I guess I should have put max. No, it says max DDR4 memory clock. You don't get max memory clock by running 2 memory sticks. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up the VTT DDR because basically you want all the voltages as high as they go, and then work from there. Yeah, this stick is bad. Yeah, okay, we'll go with this. We'll see where it tops out. I don't expect it to clock better than that other stick, because that other stick boots higher than this one. It's just unfortunate, like, it's too unfortunate that this board has such a janky BIOS when it goes so well with these memory sticks. Well, to be fair, I've seen, like, I think these memory sticks go good with every motherboard I've used. They go really well with, like, the Gigabyte X99 SoC, the Apex. I'm trying to think of one board where they'd look horrendous. Like, where it would, like, be a total mismatch in looks, but... Yeah, these are too neutral. Like, if you have, like, some of the G-Skill sticks, you put them on certain boards and they just look wrong. But these, I think, like... These are just such a basic shape that you can't really complain about it, whatever you plug them into. Okay, let's get the utility fired up. See if opening it before CPU-Z makes it open any faster. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's freaking worthless. Man, this computer is running so slow. I mean, I'm the one who set it to run like this, but... Jesus. Wait, did I accidentally try to open 2 sets of CPU-Z? Wait, why did CPU-Z close? There it is. Alt-1? If it can't do this, then it's not a good stick. Okay, it can do that. But can it do this? Yes, it can. Press it. Can do that too. Oh boy, this stick is beating expectations. And it locked up. So this one stops actually exactly the same as the other one. Basically exactly the same as the other one. So that makes sense. I mean, both of those sticks are binned for, as far as I know, they were specifically binned for max frequency on LN2, I think. I didn't really ask that many questions about them. They just told me they were hand binned, and I was like, yes, I get hand binned memory. Don't need to pay for it. So I was pretty happy with that. But I think these are both binned for max memory clock on liquid nitrogen. Because I do remember both of the, like, when I was doing my last attempt at max frequency, I had the sticks at like -60. So they do scale with cold, or like -55. So it might be possible that if I take both of these and then put them on liquid nitrogen, they might do 5 gigahertz plus. Who knows? Anyway, next stick. Because obviously both of these are exactly the freaking same. Though this one does this one does prefer a slightly lower VTT DDR, but other than that, they're the same. So, yeah, these are very well matched. Might also be just the, like, it could also, you know, the other possibility is the CPU doesn't go past 2447. And every stick you put in it that goes faster than 2447 is going to do 2447 with the CPU. That's also possible. And actually, putting the CPU on liquid nitrogen might be a good idea, because the KB Lake memory controller does scale with cold. So, yeah, 2447 774X OC Formula. Boom. Next stick. At least now it's like getting into good speed. Now I think these sticks, these two black sticks, they both tolerate less VTT DDR than the other kit, or at least they seem to prefer less. So we shall see if I need to bump that down a bit more. Man, this stick is really annoying. Would I mind if the LN2 bot became a permanent thing in this chat? No, I wouldn't. Okay, so first let's try VTT DDR up, and then VTT DDR down. Yeah, LN2 streams are always a pleasure to watch, but they're a pain to run, and the LN2 is not infinite. That's the main problem. The streams are hard to do, and the LN2 runs out. Okay, so that failed again. Wait, I left the ALSA support brought to you by all. Well, whatever, I am technically... I'm technically on the ALSA OC team, so let's just call it that. There's no actual hardware from them here today. Okay, so it doesn't like very high VTT DDR, but does it like very low VTT DDR? No, it doesn't like that either. There's a pretty good chance that these two newer sticks are actually worse than the older sticks, because, like, I wasn't told that these new ones are binned. I basically just went, I need 2 more sticks to run on X299, and they were like, sure. So I don't know if these are, like, even close to the other 2 sticks. It boot looped, I think. Yeah, it is boot looping. This stick is junk! Just sucks that, like, G-Skill and, Like, it's just unfortunate. Like, my sticks are from the time when you didn't really get any memory sticks rated above 5, like... Because mine, like, how long do I have these sticks? I have them from, like, a bit after KB Lake launched. Like, a couple months after KB Lake. So these are old, which it, like, at the time, having BDI do 5 gigahertz was, like, a freaking, was basically amazing. And now it's, like, the record is, like, 5,400 megahertz. So, yeah. And actually, Team Group has since started binning. They have a kit that's rated at 4,500 megahertz stock. I should ask them for that. Could be pretty fun to mess with. Yeah, so it boots this. So are you going to have LN2 for 5 gigahertz with this? I might. I'm not sure. Like, it depends if I prioritize the LN2 for something else, like the 1080 Ti or something. Because ultimately, like, I did volunteer, I did choose to do this, but I'd be lying if I said memory overclocking is exactly, like, is my favorite thing to do. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure that I'd go for this. Okay, I'll go off of this here. Oh no, that just failed again. That's interesting. That looked like it passed. Let's just go with that. The thing is, memory overclocking really doesn't it doesn't use a lot of LN2, so it wouldn't really be like a big issue in that sense. It's just yeah, it's just like I don't find it a super big priority for me. Because, like, there's so much other stuff I want to run. Like, I want to try the 7940X some more, this time run it with some GPU benchmarks, because, hey, I can finally run 4-way Fury Fiji cards. So, I'll do that. What else could I do? I could run, like, there's so much stuff I could run. And honestly, actually, the 7940X is probably a waste of LN2, just because it doesn't run that cold anyway, but... That's the thing, it's just like, because here's the fear I have, right? I run the 7940X on dry ice, and I finally figure out what it is that I'm doing wrong. And then it's like, oh, now I don't have any LN2. Or it's like, I do run it on LN2, and then like halfway through the session I figure out, oh my god, this is how you do everything, and suddenly the CPU does 6 gigahertz, and which, there's no way that's happening, but... Like, like, it's possible, somewhat, slightly, very, very slightly, and it's just like... So it's just like, every time you have, like, this choice of, like, do I run LN2 on this, or that? And it's just like, well, LN2 is always the best option. Except for something like... Like, there's a few platforms where LN2 really doesn't make any sense. But everywhere else, LN2. Stupid utility open! I don't have a real... Actually, I don't have a memory pot at all yet. I could try Ask EK for one. They'd be probably okay with sending one over. The 7740X is not delidded. Not yet. Like, this is the first time I'm running that chip. I didn't even know if it worked until I installed it earlier today into the motherboard, so... Because it is second-hand. Start bumping up that... Okay. Oh boy, the software is being jank again. There. There's no point in running this memory if it can't do 116. But can it do 117? Okay, now things get interesting. Man, max memory frequency is so much more convenient than... it crashed. Wait, is this topping out at the same It is, isn't it? It's like within... Yeah, I'm gonna need LN2 on that CPU. Damn it all! Yeah, the CPU needs to go cold. Because this right there, right, that's 2420. This is a 2447. That's a 2447. If, like, all these sticks are within 20 megahertz of each other so far. Like, well, no, 2 of these are identical, and what the next stick I try is within 20 megahertz? That's a little unlikely. I think the CPU's memory controller is just hammered again. Lovely. I guess I could try dry ice everything. The thing is, like, bury the memory stick in dry ice and run the CPU on dice as well. I could totally do that. But the thing is, the people that, well, the company that I wanted to buy dry ice from, or, well, they're really, like, they're expanding their production capabilities. So, no dice right now. Or maybe I could still order, I'm not sure. I'll have to check with them. But, and also at this point I should be getting LN2 in like a week. And then basically the idea is I want to use up all the LN2 and then transition over to the dry ice. Because as long as I have liquid nitrogen, I'd rather be on liquid nitrogen. Because it wastes away if I don't use it. Okay, last stick to go. And this will be the end. 4 hours of suffering. Well, almost 4 hours. And then I can go back to benchmarking things that are actually interesting. Well, actually, the next thing I want to do is, like, to check if the CPU can do 4000 CL12. But you need to put, well, I need to put 2 sticks in for that. I mean, I guess I can just quickly try if that'll work. And there are profiles on the board for that, so it's convenient. Okay, that worked. And that locked up. Okay, so this stick actually seems to be worse than the last one. I'm gonna call that a day. I mean, let's see. Just wanted to check something. Yep, they're all the same part number. Well, that's it. That's max memory frequency. I'm done. This sucks. Literally the worst kind of overclocking possible. Come here. I need to save that profile though. Actually, no, I should like go through and like write down all the settings. I should make a screenshot of all the settings. Anyway, how high did I get? I got all the way to 2447. Right here. Yeah, put the Mobo in the DWAR and the whole system won't start. Because basically, like, it is a miracle that silicon works at minus 200. like capacitors, memory, like lots of other things don't work at minus 200. And then it's just like, oh yeah, but Intel CPUs do if you do a whole bunch of special, you know, set a whole bunch of voltages to very specific levels. Yeah, I mean, it's a long, hard road to getting DDR4 DDR4 5000. I wonder how easy, like, see, this makes me really wonder about, like, the G-Skill 5000 megahertz kit. Because, like, that would at least eliminate the variable of, I don't know where the memory is supposed to top out, right? Because if you buy a 5000 megahertz kit, you at least know that some way, somehow, it should do 5000. Yeah, but I don't want to spend that much money on a memory kit, especially when I'm going to run like one stick out of the two that it comes with. So, yeah, that's it for the stream. Any ideas for the next stream? Oh boy. There's like a lot of stuff that I could go for the next stream. And the thing is, before doing the... before doing more hardware, I also want to do a live stream just discussing like just discussing stuff from like Computex with maybe some like some guests on the stream, just to talk about cool stuff from Computex, and then after that it'll be back to the hardware streams. And actually, I don't know what I'll do with the liquid nitrogen once I get it. It's just like, keep piling up nitrogen. Eventually you'll know what to do with it. I don't know, like there's an R9 290X that I have that probably needs an E-power, but I don't really feel like live streaming out. There's the 1080 Ti, I don't really feel like live streaming that. Because like live streaming, well, actually no, those are definitely not getting done anytime soon because there's stuff I want to like, yeah, do. I might do some DDR3 memory overclocking with a 4820K, maybe, just maybe. And I really want to bench some more GPUs. I could do like there's the 7950. There's some stuff I want to do with that. There's the 780 Ti's. I guess I could bench Vantage on those. Just like two 780 Ti's. Ooh, I could do a 4-way crossfire, but with the 7940X on water. It wouldn't really make that much of a difference that it's on water than compared to like, yeah, like it would still be, I think it would still be interesting to run it on water, and then maybe in the future transfer it to like, and then at least I'd know what settings to run and what kind of things to do when I take it on liquid nitrogen. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I could do. I'm thinking I really want probably do 4-way. 4-way sounds best to me. I also wanted to do GTX 590 4-way, but there's just so many problems with that. Like, the GTX 590s are cool cards to mess with, but the problems are basically I don't know how to deal with NVIDIA cards. So, like, SLI on them, the last time I tried it, like, SLI didn't bloody work past the second card. Like, on one card it ran great, which is 2-way SLI, and then on 2 cards, which is 4-way, it didn't run it. Like, it ran so bad, and I have no idea why. So, yeah. That's kind of that. And I need to figure out some stuff for actually benching 3D Mark 11, because my physics score in 3D Mark 11 is just so atrociously bad. What's really interesting is my 3D Mark 11 physics score is actually, like, pretty decent if I bench it on Ryzen, which makes no bloody sense, because it's like an Intel biased benchmark. Oh, well. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for trolling me to the guy who gave me Alt F4. Like, seriously. And, yeah, like, share, subscribe if you're watching the replay on YouTube, and see you all next time. I'll announce the next stream as usual through the community feature on YouTube, since that's where I do it. Probably like 5 hours before I figure out what to actually stream. Anyway, goodbye. Where's the... I'm like really confused what... there we go. Mouse.